The Way of the Gun. I don't really care about that gibberish that they put in here. That's number 6 on my list. The Way of the Gun is a 2000 American film produced by Kenneth Coggan and directed by Christopher McQuaid and starring Ryan Phillippe, Bernardo del Toro, Juliette Lewis, Ty Diggs, Nikki Cate, and James Caan. It is considered a cult film. There they are again. Plot: Parker, Ryan Phillippe, and Longbaugh, Bernardo del Toro, are two born troublemakers who steal money any way they can. While at a sperm donation facility, they overhear a telephone conversation detailing a $1 million payment to a surrogate mother for bearing the unborn child of Hal Cuddick Scott Wilson. Parker and Longbaugh resolve to kidnap the pregnant surrogate, Robin Juliette Lewis. Their attempt to kidnap Robin at her pregnancy clinic escalates into a shootout with her bodyguards, Jeffers, Ty Diggs, and Obix, Nikki Cate. After the shootout, the kidnappers escape with Robin and elude Jeffers and Obix, who are arrested. As the fugitives head south, Jeffers and Obix are bailed out and returned to Chuddick by Joe Sarno, James Caan, a close friend of Chuddick's. As Sarno begins coordinating Robin's rescue, Longbaugh contacts the surrogate's gynecologist, Dr. Alan Painter, Dylan Cussman, and orders him to a truck stop to examine Robin. After the examination, Painter returns to Chuddick, and it is revealed that the doctor is Chuddick's son. Longbaugh calls and demands a $15 million ransom for the safe return of Robin and the baby. Jeffers and Obix, tempted by the money, begin forming a plan to save the child, keeping the $15 million for themselves, and kill everyone under the guise of paying off the kidnappers. As Longbaugh hangs up the telephone outside the Mexican motel, he is approached by Sarno, who offers him $1 million if they surrender the pregnant Robin and simply walk away. Before getting an answer, the two have a drink together in a bar, let down their guard, and talk about the violent life of bagmen in general. A timeout from the business's hands, as Sarno reveals to Sarno that Sarno's daughter has something for his eventual retirement in the works, promising to take care of him as an old man. Before parting, Longbaugh declines the offer earlier made and returns to his motel room where Parker and Robin are playing cards. Sarno then returns to Chuddick's homes to relay the events and plan the next step. Jeffers and Obix realize that Sarno is a wild card in this affair, and Jeffers comes to realize that Robin is Sarno's daughter. Jeffers, Obix, and Painter leave to meet the kidnappers, while Sarno departs separately with the $15 million ransom. At the motel, Parker is having second thoughts about the kidnapping, as he confers with Longbaugh outside the motel room. Robin takes the opportunity to seize a shotgun and barricade herself in the motel room after almost shooting Parker. As sirens are heard in the distance, Parker and Longbaugh hastily escape, and Robin emerges in the parking lot just as the Mexican police officers arrive, followed by Jeffers, Obix, and Painter in another car. As Painter and the bodyguards try to persuade Robin to leave with them, the officers pull their guns and order everyone onto the ground. Suddenly, Parker and Longbaugh open fire from a nearby hilltop. A fierce shootout erupts and kills the two officers before Jeffers and Painter and Robin into the car drives off, leaving the dead officers and a wounded Obix in the motel parking lot. Parker and Longbaugh torture Obix to gain Robin's location, while Jeffers confines Robin in the room of a secluded brothel, Mexican brothel. Jeffers forces Painter to persuade a cesarean section to retrieve the baby. Despite Robin's confession that the child was conceived between her and Painter and is not Chuddick's, during the operation, the heavily armed Parker and Longbaugh infiltrate the brothel and search for Robin. The ensuing ambush, which leaves Parker wounded, turns into another standoff, with Jeffers threatens to kill Painter and her baby before Painter kills Jeffers with a hidden gun. Outside the brothel, Sarno arrives with a group of bagmen and the $15 million ransom, and they stack the courtyard, which they stack in the courtyard. Parker wants to kidnap Robin and paint her again, but Longbow, guilt-ridden after seeing her conditions, responds she's had enough. Despite realizing that 15 million is bait, Parker and Longbow charge headlong into an ambush. All of Sarno's men are killed in the ensuing firefight. However, Sarno manages to shoot and cripple the already wounded Parker and Longbow, and then calls for an ambulance. As the child cries breaks the silence, Painter emerges with Robin, newborn baby in her arms, lying in a pool of blood. Parker and Longbow call out to Sarno, informing him that the baby is in fact Robin and Painter's, and thus Sarno's own grandson. Painter wonders aloud if this fact will influence Sarno to let them keep the child. Robin and her baby are taken away in the ambulance, and Painter and Sarno and the 15 million leaving Parker and Longbow to bleed out. Miles away and days later, Chuddock's wife reveals that she is pregnant. This was a fantastic movie. To me, it was the Wild Bunch of the new century. It had a lot of parallels. These guys were not exactly Ernest Borgnine and the Bunch. Ernest Borgnine, Warren Oates, all those guys. They weren't. But they had a lot of the same themes. Sacrificing yourself for others, the existentialism, the violence, all those things. It very much reminded me of it. And they really didn't necessarily have to die. They were left out there, but they may not have died. It was clear that they didn't die, and it was clear that they didn't feel sorry for what they did or what happened. I think of the two, Ryan was just stronger. Ryan Phillippe, Parker. I mean, he was just relentless, and he was cold, and he didn't seem to really care as much. Where Longbow had this kind of sense of humor to him. He had a little more intricacy to him. Bernardo del Toro. Maybe because he's an older guy. But I love some of the lines. I love the Sarno line where they ask him about karma. And he said, I don't believe in karma. It's justice without the satisfaction, and I don't believe in justice. And he said this problem is going to be adjudicated. The whole thing that they were going to solve the problem, it was going to be adjudicated. I love the adjudicated word. I will use that. It's a great word, adjudicated. And at the end, when they're going in, when Parker and Longbow are going out for that gunfight, and they go, what's the plan? And then Parker retorts, you know, a plan is a list of things that don't happen. So this film was very existential to the end. They talk about God in the ending, and they say they're not ashamed, they're not afraid, and they don't feel like they need forgiveness, because I don't think they think they're evil. And I don't think they're evil. I think in some way they had some kind of redemption here. I think that Longbow and Parker were the ones who found redemption, or the ones whose souls, if you believe in that sort of thing, whose souls were saved in this whole operation. I don't really think that Juliette Lewis really changed. She was a heroic, angelic figure the whole way throughout. The doctor, I think he may have gotten more, braver, but I don't know if he really changed too much, and I definitely don't think that Joe Sarno changed. But there was just a lot of characters. There was a guy that was going to kill himself that was enlisted in this, and there's all kinds of minor characters and all kinds of things going on there. The crime syndicate boss, Chuddock, he was incredible. He said some incredible things. This movie is just multi-layered. It could have easily been #1. It's just a great film, and I can't wait to see it again. Bye-bye.